Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. Today's video is a bit different as it is basically the part 2 of a video I did last week where we already took the basically sibling tree of this Portulacaria Afra, also known as jade, and worked on it and repotted it. I actually bought this in one pot. I will put some footage of how it looked like in here into this video. And in the last video we took the second of those trees and potted it up and worked a little bit on it. And today we will do the same thing with this one. However, those both trees I can already see now look quite different to each other, so the outcome will definitely be different than the last one. Because, of course, each tree is unique. It all gives us unique opportunities to work on those trees, and that's, of course, is the beauty when it comes to working on trees like this. So what are we going to do today? First, what we will do right now is pot this up. So I prepared a little clay pot. I don't think these trees are already ready now to really put them into a finished bonsai pot. There is still a couple of years of training that they need to go through. So I will simply put in some of my inorganic soil mixture here, fill it to a certain point, and then pot up this tree. One nice little feature on this tree is this little aerial root that we have here actually growing, because it was potted up all the way up to here in the original pot. A little root also formed from this little side branch here, so that is definitely something we can incorporate into the overall look and feel of this tree in the future. So I will definitely make sure we will cover this with soil, simply so it stays also well viable and still works on this tree to help it get nutrients up into this little branch. So I will pot this a bit off to the side because a lot of the roots are actually coming from this side, and fill in the soil. Let's see if I have enough here, if I need to prepare a little bit more. I think we're gonna need a little bit more. So let me put this to the side and let's fill up the rest of this pot. So again, let me position this. Also making sure the aerial root is in a position which we like. So I think I like it this way. Put in some of the soil, especially here in the back where we don't have that much yet. Again, of course, we need to make sure we really fill out this pot because we don't want any crevices in here or any little bubbles where we don't have soil in which then air can be trapped, or just things we want to avoid. So still just making sure I give it the stability that it needs, because of course we haven't wired in this tree here, and inorganic soil is always a bit more loose than organic soil would be. So just making sure it has the stability that it needs. Right now, of course, it anyway will be a bit shaky still, simply due to the fact that it is quite top heavy in general, because you can see how much growth there is on this tree. But that is actually something we're going to tackle right now. So we will shorten the growth of this tree. We will cut back some parts of this tree. We simply make sure we set it up in a way that it can become a nice looking bonsai tree in the future. And there's certain things we have to do. As I said, this branch here I will definitely leave on because it simply makes sense with this little area root to have it as a very interesting looking feature on this tree. But that leaves us with two parallel branches right up here that, of course, we should take out because it gives off a bit of an artificial look otherwise on the tree. So by taking that out, we first of all create a little own space for this little branch here. The branch itself is maybe a bit too long and the growth here doesn't seem so healthy. So why not take it back to around here? There will be no growth. Of course, it will still spread out. So the question is, do we make our way up here? And first of all, do we still make sure this is upright? So we actually work on it in the intended design. That definitely helped. I would actually make my way up from this area here to also take out some of the more heavy parts of this tree. I can see here this growth, again, not too healthy when it comes to the last parts here, and it is growing a bit downwards, which in general is, yeah, it's okay, but it's not the best look that this tree could have. So I would also shorten this, probably even shorten it here a little bit. And we do the same thing here in the back. Right now I would leave both of them on, because I'm not sure yet on which I will decide to keep actually. And they could create actually in tandem here a nice looking pad, in my opinion. Here we have a growth, of course, on the inside of the band, which we will take out just to free up also the band here. And we make our way up this tree. So I will try to, of course, leave on growth that is growing outwards to give it a bit more of width. Also, we have the height on this tree, and that is actually something we might even tackle beforehand, because the height I find a bit too much. But the question is how drastic are we going on this tree today? As this is a little bonus tree anyway, we can go quite drastic here and take out this growth, for example. We can really achieve like a nice twin growth here, which we keep rather bare on the inside and then growth on the outside. That is something normally you only see with deciduous trees, but why not try it? So we clean out some of this inner growth here, also on this side. I'm doing this with my scissors because I'm not too concerned if there will be new growth coming from these parts. Actually, I would prefer if there won't be any new growth from these parts. And here again, I would take out some of the height, as well as where here, maybe here we don't go too much and we only go till here. So that already shortens this tree considerably, as you can see. So we can still go a bit more in detail here, I would say. And really look at the detailed ideas we have for this tree and in which direction we want to take it. We have here a little growth coming. And if I look at it, because I will see this as the front of the tree, because we do feature this aerial root quite nicely from here. So that is something I definitely want to quite prominently show on this tree, because it is simply quite cute looking, I would say, this little aerial root. Will get thicker, will of course then also give the tree an older look in the future, so this looks good in my opinion. Here I think we have loose. Here we have some growth that goes downwards, so we definitely need to take that out. Here we have upwards growth. I would also like to stunt this a little bit to just show that we get some ramification on here, creating a nice pad in the future. Here this growth is rather leggy also and growing directly into the front, so I would also take this out. This reveals a little stump here that was left on this tree. I tried to do it with the scissors, but I might have to get my concave cutters to do this actually. This is dieback, so you can already see there is not really anything green left there. So we just take out the stump a little at a time, which will help also. Here you can also see the growth pattern not being the healthiest, so we take that out. And here we still have some growth inside. And we said we want to keep this actually quite growth free, maybe up here then have some growth again. Though I'm not quite sure about that yet, so we might even have this one grow upwards. But I think I would still take this out. Yeah, for the intended design that I have in my mind right now, I think this makes more sense. Same probably even here, like, even though it's just showing right now, why not already get it taken care of? Because it gives this tree, like, it had to basically decide in which direction to grow. It grew in both directions. It left this one a bit empty in the middle and then can grow like nice foliage here and on this side as well. Maybe in the future we might even make this into 2 trees then if we are not too happy with that design. But for now, I will grow it this way, see how it will fare in the future. But we of course could take out, for example, this entire branch here, have a nice tapering tree here in the future, but that is something, as I said, in the future definitely. So there is still a lot of water that's going down the river until we see which direction we will take this tree. For now, I think there's not much more we can do. I mean, we can still look a bit more in detail at this branch here, but as I can see right now, it seems to be quite nicely and evenly spread. However, here again, we have like 3 branches. That is often the case with Portulacaria Afra, because you have 2 branches coming from the same side basically, and you should normally decide then when it comes to bonsai, as we don't really like this parallel or even this mirroring effect on a tree, you should definitely then decide which of the 2 you would leave on. And as this one is growing anyway inside into another branch, I would take this out, so this one can grow nicely outwards. Let's see if we have this problem anywhere else on this tree. Here we only have 1 growth. Here it's starting to actually show the same problem. Let's look at it from also the front. And what we could do is we could leave it open here and have it grow a little bit more together here again. So we actually would, in this case, rather take out the growth on this side. Perfect. We get the debris out of the pot. I'm still not really sure about this one, if we kept it too long actually. If I'm fine with that. The same actually on this side, now that I think about it. I think I would shorten one of them at least a little bit still. It's an interesting question if we leave this one on here. But I think for now we can simply let this grow a bit thicker, so it also strengthens the trunk line down here. We do the same with growth coming from this area right here, so this will spread out more in this area, with smaller branch also coming from here. And down here also all seems quite nice to prepare it for being a pad in the future. You can see here we have parallel growth still. That is something we should tackle. This could be an outward bend in the future, so that probably makes more sense to leave on. So we take this out. It looks a bit bare right now, of course. We did work a lot on it, but I think in the future this will actually benefit the tree and set it up for a quite nice look. Looking at all the different areas again. But I'm happy with the initial outcome of this tree. So I would leave it at that for this tree today. Just keep it happy and healthy. As I mentioned also with the other tree that I worked on in my previous video, I'm not gonna water this right away, so I will wait a couple of days, because Portulacaria Afra, they do like it on the drier side anyway, as they are succulents. And especially when repotting, we don't want to overdo it right away and stress the tree too much with suddenly also giving it too much water actually at this point. Because the roots also, of course, need some time to settle into this new pot. But for now, I think that is it. If you have any questions or any ideas on in which direction you would take this tree, feel free to leave them in the comments. I will get to answer them as soon as I see them. Hopefully I will see you all also in the next video. And until then, take care.